Maximum firepower.
Brace for impact!
Welcome to the Brace for Impact podcast. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the final upgrade card announcements for Wave 10 and talk about the Unconventional Warfare tactics released by Atomic Mass Games. So you want to roll right into Unconventional Warfare? What did you think of Unconventional Warfare? It kind of was dropped on us pretty suddenly.
Yeah, they were just like, here you go. Here's a whole rule set for a new way to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like the event was for like 3 days, but like that seemed kind of ridiculous. I don't think they understand like how long it takes to play, like just to set up a game of Armada with somebody to play it. And then it's like that's the one game you're playing for like the next 2 weeks. And they're like, this event is 3 days long. And I'm like, well,
starting today.
Starting today. And I'm like, well, I'll get to play this one time. Let me wait a couple days until, you know, all the perks are out, and then I'll play that. But even with that, I only got to play through Unconventional Warfare twice during the event.
Right. I think that like there is the part of it that's like the event, and like yes, it was sudden, and like I know when I play Armada, it's usually like the date is like 1 week or more in advance, like that it's gonna happen. It's not like typically for me, it's not like, oh, like I'm bored.
It's not like going to the local game store and playing a pickup game of Magic.
All right, exactly.
You can't just show up and then it happens, you know.
At least not in the area where it's like
I don't think anywhere can support that.
You don't just show up and there's like 3 Armada people here, like they want to play, like it's not like that. But there's also the piece of it that's like these rules exist forever, and it's literally just a piece of paper that tells you like these are the upgrades you get for your fleet as like a fleet wide. It's almost like having 3 extra commanders for 0 cost.
Yeah. So what did you think of it? Because we had a game that we played, and we put it up on our YouTube channel, YouTube Brace for Impact. If you haven't seen it, but what did you think about like the way these Unconventional Warfare rules played out in the game?
I will start by saying I'm a fan in general of the idea of Unconventional Warfare, and having these upgrades show up. I saw almost no value in every day we're going to reveal one more of them. Like,
yeah, that was pretty much useless. That was dead on arrival to me. Like,
how many people are going to play day 1 with just one of the perks and then be like, oh, day 2, I'm going to play again another 2-hour game over Armada.
Yeah, that was probably the most useless part of the strategic approaches. It's like I saw that there were 4 unrevealed perks, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait until the rest of the perks are revealed to play this at all.
Yeah.
Like maybe if they did it over like a couple months, that would be like interesting, because then I would have a chance to play multiple games. But like, I was just like, oh, if they're just releasing them one a day at a time, I'll wait until they're all revealed before I pick which one to play with.
Yeah.
And it took that long to set up a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right. I saw the Unconventional Warfare stuff, and then day 2, day 3, and on the 3rd day was when we were able to record.
Yeah. And day 1 was like announced at 4 p.m. on day 1, right? So
exactly.
It was like, so it's like, okay. Yeah, because like I know as soon as it dropped, we were like, oh, let's play a game. And like by the time we played our game, all 3 perks were out already, like by the time we were able to set it up. So.
I mean, it was exciting to like see them get revealed over a couple days, but it was disappointing when the event was like 3 days long and we got to play like only on day 3, because that's how that fucking works.
As for the perks themselves, I think in general they were powerful enough to change up the game. But not so powerful that like it was powerful enough that it was changing the game, and it was helping me be like, oh, I'm going to build my list specifically to take advantage of these perks.
Yeah.
But not so ridiculous that it felt absurd.
I disagree with that assessment that they were not so ridiculous.
Really?
I
don't think they were. I don't think any one perk was more powerful than a good commander.
I disagree entirely.
Which
I think you're
perk
just fucking
here?
dead wrong.
Which perk
I'm
on this
talking
list
about
is better than like a solid commander?
Okay. So I'm talking about Anvil and Hammer perk 2 and 3.
Okay.
And Unrivaled Starfighters perk 3. Those are all obscenely powerful. Obscenely more powerful than certain commanders.
Some commanders, but I don't think
that
one
for you to get that ability and not pay any points.
Okay, but the fact that the points don't cost. Okay, but the fact that there's no points cost, like both sides get that, right?
I understand. I'm just saying, like, in reference to how powerful some commanders are, for taking away from other abilities that you could get in the fleet.
Okay, but stop. Anvil and Hammer perk 3. One ship can reroll any number of dice at once. Like,
yes,
during its first attack only, right?
Yes,
that's not that much better than
what? What are you talking about?
Like, that's a commander. That's a commander.
Free?
But only one time.
What command? What? No, not only one time. One time per round.
Right, one time per round.
What commander are you looking at that does anything like that? Reroll any number of attack time.
Doesn't Vader let you do that?
No, by spending a defense token.
That's okay, fine, whatever. Like,
it's better. It's way better.
It's better that you're not having to spend the defense token. Yes, but like, this is a normal like type of rule in the game. Like, reroll your dice. Like, it's not that crazy.
That is true.
Adding the
I'm saying that these
redirect token is like,
that's obscene.
It's really good.
It's also really, really good.
I think
I'm saying that the way that these
dodge,
perks, the way you get these perks, and the way that they're worded right now are obscenely powerful if they're not one-time use during the course of the game.
I don't care. I don't care about that, because like, they should be powerful. I'm not that hyped up about how powerful they are. But I think that Anvil and Hammer is so much better than Unrivaled Starfighters that even in a list that I built that I wanted to take Unrivaled Starfighters, I still picked Anvil and Hammer.
Well, yeah, because fundamentally it increases the longevity of your ships.
Like, every ship getting a redirect, one ship getting a reroll per turn, and like the redirecting of the shields is so much better than squadrons that can move a little bit more and get fucking, like, Unrivaled Starfighters 2, friendly squadrons at distance 1 to 3 of any ship getting dodge 1. Might as well.
That's cool.
Like, no,
that's cool.
That. That's trash. That's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a cool ability.
Garbage.
It's not. It's one of these abilities that you get for free that increases the flavor of your fleet without being crazy powerful, like Anvil and Hammer perks 2 and 3.
Fine.
And Unrivaled Starfighters 3, because that's fucking bullshit.
Okay.
That shouldn't be fucking anywhere.
Unrivaled Starfighters 3 is literally just like, let's say 3 bombers get to shoot again, right? Like, but at the expense of 3 other squadrons.
Let me tell you what Unrivaled Starfighters 3 says to me. It says, during the course of a game, instead of Merrick Steele doing 20 damage, he now does 40. Okay? That's what that shit says to me. Because it's at the start of the fucking squadron phase. I tap up to 3 friendly squadrons. Let's say I tap 2 TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And now Merrick Steele gets to do
2 more attacks.
2 more attacks.
Yeah.
Okay? It's obscenely powerful.
That's really good.
I mean, if I played more games with the strategic approaches, I would have done that. But it's just so fucking good. Because it's at the start of the squadron phase, which means if you have a player that is positioning their squadrons appropriately, Merrick Steele is already in range to shoot.
Right.
So you just tap 2 TIE fighters and he shoots again and again. And now he's doing 40 damage over the course of the game.
Yeah.
And for those keeping track, I'm not counting round 1 in that calculations. That's starting at round 2 attacks at the end of the game.
I understand how it can be good. I just feel like if someone with Unrivaled Starfighters can beat someone with Anvil and Hammer, like, they were the better player regardless of this.
I agree with. Yeah, if you have Unrivaled Starfighters and you beat someone with Anvil and Hammer, you're a better player.
Right. Because like you're going like
Well, you were
Mayor
going to win
Steele's
anyway.
Mayor Steele's doing that against a ship that can redirect shields, gets an extra redirect token, like, you know, it's just blowing up your ships faster with the rerolls. Like it's tough. It's tough. I wanted to play on Unrivaled Starfighters, and I think for our match we both ended up playing Anvil and Hammer.
It was just better.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Anvil and Hammer 2, I was like, oh, Obi-Wan. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's just
Once I saw Anvil and Hammer 2, I was like, oh, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I didn't have Republic to bring, so I was like, I guess I'm fucked. I've got to do some Devastator nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
Look, I think that these perks are really cool and they're really interesting. I'd like to see more of them.
Agreed.
Like more strategic approaches. But I want some like additional rules that emphasize like when you can use them and how often you can use them. Because if it was just like once per game per perk, I'd be like, all right, awesome. That's fucking amazing. It's just that every single round you get an additional redirect for all your ships is like ridiculous. And then every round, it's for Anvil and Hammer perk 3, it's at the start of every ship phase, you can reroll any number of attack die during your first attack. That's ridiculous. On top of the rerolls I already have.
It's and the limitation of one friendly ship is like most fleets have one scary ship that they want to reroll dice on. So it's like your biggest, baddest beast can just, you know, in addition to all of the other dice modification that you might have on that ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can also just reroll everything. That's bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really good. I will say, like, I'm not as concerned as you are about the balance, because as long as the two strategic approaches that are going up against each other are relatively similar, then I don't really care that they're so much stronger than a normal fleet. You know, like they're not going to fight a normal fleet. Like no one's going to do that. So I'm not that.
Yeah, I don't really mind that they're like together balanced. I just think over the course of like the entire game, the amount of increase in value that they give is like too much.
Yeah.
I like if you can say, all right, I'm using my perk 1 and then that's it for the game. That's great. Like, because also let's talk about Unrivaled Starfighters perk 1, which is the most dog shit perk I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
It's just all squadrons basically have stealth, right?
No, it's not. It doesn't say you can move when you're engaged.
You just can move when you're not engaged.
It's like shit. It's so shit.
It's worse.
I mean, I guess it's good if you have like B-wings or arcs to get them in range, but then it's like, send some squadrons over there, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, it's dog shit. If it was, I mean, even when they're engaged, they can move up to speed 1.
Right.
Once
if it was
game,
give all squadrons stealth, right? That's
cloak.
the keyword that they use. Cloak.
Cloak.
Yeah. Cloak. All squadrons have cloak, right? Like
for one turn, like that's fucking cool.
You love that one turn thing. And I was like, even every turn, it's
every
fine.
turn is too good. That's too good.
It doesn't
every
matter
turn
how
is
good.
too good.
It has to be good, or no one will want to play. Like if all of the perks were like Unrivaled Starfighters 2, I wouldn't have even tried to play a game. Like it's just so boring.
I understand that.
Like
that.
Okay, I can make you reroll your flak, like. Or I guess
by making them too good over the course of the game, you're creating this just shitstorm of additional rule sets that you have to track to make your strategic approaches even playable.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, do you want to play strategic approach with me? And it's like, no, you dickhole. You brought Obi-Wan with Anvil and Hammer. Like, why are we going to do that? You're just going to win the game and I can't kill your ships. Like, that's not fucking fun.
Right, exactly. So I see what you're saying about them not being so absurd, but I also think there's like it's got to be good enough to be interesting compared to a normal game.
Look,
and then there's also the like remembering everything fatigue, right? Like it's already hard enough to remember like Count Dooku's ready tokens at the beginning of every round. And that
well, let me tell you, I was trying to get people in our Armada group to play strategic approaches, and they were like, "This is my third game, man.
Right?
Let me just get the rules down." But let me tell you, like, every perk that says at the start of is a one-time use during the course of the game. You know, and then your friendly squadrons get like they stay with dodge 1 when they're near enemy ships for the whole game. Like, because that perk is like that has to be through the whole game. Like that's just shit if it's just one turn. You know,
you could just say at the start of a command phase or at the start of a ship phase, right?
Exactly,
and then
something like that, and then it's good. It's good. I'm good to go with these strategic approaches.
Yeah.
I like the idea of strategic approaches. I know I'm harping on like how powerful they are, but I like the idea of them.
Let's say they do another Unconventional Warfare round 2.
Yeah.
Right. And these strategic perks, one was, about Starfighters being really good. Another one was, ships being, basically more defensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you think would be another flavor theme for maybe Unconventional Warfare round 2, right? What would be the replacements for Starfighters and Anvil and Hammer?
Well, you put me on the spot here because here's the thing. Here's the thing that you don't know about me. I'm not a fucking game designer, so I'm pretty shit about this stuff. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Look, the fact that they came up with this shit at all is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Look, this is one of those things that I'm assuming that AMG just like divined this out of their assholes. Because this feels
obviously
very
what happened.
Well, I don't know if this is like something that FFG was planning to do, and then they.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because this seems very like traditional tabletop RPG rule sets.
Yeah,
where you just put words on a sheet, and then you're like, here are some rules. Go play with them, everyone. What do you think? Like if it was FFG, they would be like, all right, here's a campaign pack. Here's some more cardboard.
Right.
This is the rules for those, and
there'll definitely be more tokens. There'll definitely be tokens involved.
Exactly. This reminds me a lot of like chapter tactics from like Warhammer 40K.
Right.
Which it increases the amount of variability in your lists because you can say I'm picking this strategic approach, and what I really liked was the build restrictions.
Yep.
That was my favorite part. Like just give me one perk selection out of the 3 and give me the build restrictions. 2 ships with squadron rating of at least of 3. And each fleet cannot include a ship with point cost higher than 150 before. Like, give me more restrictions and give me benefits.
You might not be a game designer. And I am also not a game designer. But
you aren't? I thought you were. What the hell?
My idea for a strategic approach perk channel, I don't know what it would be called, but the build restriction would be that you cannot have any command 3 ships.
Uh-huh.
And it would be all about improving nav, right? So like maybe one of the perks is like when you nav, you can add 2 clicks instead of 1 click to the adjustable, right? Maybe another perk could be when you are navving, you're obstructed, like Kraken when you're at speed 3 or more, you're obstructed, like something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe like while you're at distance 1 of like an asteroid, your ship gains dodge 1.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Shit
except
like
ships don't dodge.
You know what I mean? You get like an evade.
An evade, yeah. You get an evade, right? So like no command 3 means like no victories, no assault frigates, no obviously ISDs, right? But also there'd be no like even acclimators, right? So the Republic would be like basically all like small boys, right? They're all small boys, but they're extra maneuverable. They're extra hard to hit, right? And then and then there's obviously commanders that can take advantage, like Mothma, right? You throw Mothma on it, it's like holy shit, right? It's like all MC30s and CR90s. Like, what do I do? But yeah, I think that would be cool.
Well, going along with that, there's one aspect of the game that I kind of dislike thematic wise that I think having a strategic approach address it would be cool, and that is like the blockade aspect, because we've got blockade run and everything, but whenever I pick like contested outpost, I'm having to calculate how long I can sit on the outpost before I inevitably fly past it.
Yeah.
And I got like 2 ISDs, and that's like, okay, so I can have 1 ISD out in front, and then I'll cut the other one behind a little bit, so that I got it for turns 1, 2, and 3, and then for 4, 5, and 6. But then it's like, well, now my ISDs are out of position for the game. So do I really want to do this and lose the game just for like 60 points? So I would like a strategic approach that kind of dealt with blockading an area, like sectioning off a part of the board, and having my ships perform speed 0 maneuvers while not getting fucked on defense tokens.
It could even be like, while at speed 0, your ship can spend 1 defense token.
Exactly,
Right?
something
Instead
like
of
that.
0, right?
I
would actually love that even in like in the rules of some of the objective cards. Like player 2, while at speed 0, ships can spend 1 defense token on contested outpost specifically, right?
Yeah, you know, because like I want to blockade shit. I want to like zone off the area,
right?
And like I sit here, you come to me. I mean, I know that sounds like insanely good as far as board control goes, but I kind of
only
want
1
some way
defensive
of doing
token, right? So
exactly. So it's like it's not that bad.
But like, what do ISDs like to do? They like to sit there and be intimidating, right? And you can't really like you can
eventually
go
the ISD
speed
is
1, but
speed 1, yeah.
like it's cool to just sit there too. Yeah. But overall, I'm gonna say more unconventional warfare stuff. Great first try.
At least more stuff like that. Oh yeah, give us more. Like if for some reason someone from AMG is listening to this shit, give us more of this stuff. This was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe iron out the text for it, because I think they mentioned some things that weren't like a phase, like at the start of like fleet setup or something. They said like that doesn't exist in the rules. You know, maybe line that shit up.
Oh, what was that? Was that in the event rules?
It was something in the event rules. Let me see if I can find it.
It was when you select which one you're doing. Between the place obstacles and place forces step.
Yeah, those aren't phases in the game. So maybe get that shit in line. But I'm like, whatever. Like I know what they mean, but I know a bunch of rules assholes will get up on that. But I mean, I think this was like an 8 out of 10 like event. I think this stuff is great, and it makes me like super excited for like whatever AMG does.
And if they're listening, I'm going to throw in there one more time. Sell obstacles and 3D terrain. I know it's space, but there's still things in space, and include objective cards in the box with them.
Dude, I can't comprehend, and it's mind fucking boggling to me how many years in this game? 6 years?
Yeah.
We're 6 years. When did Rogue One come out?
2016?
2016.
I think so, because it was episode 7 Rogue One, episode 8 Solo, episode 9. So
it's been 5 years since Rogue One has come out. We don't have what don't we have? We don't have the TIE Reaper or the TIE Striker. We don't have Blue Squadron. We don't have U-Wings. No. We don't have Scarif Shieldgate. We don't have shit. All we have from Rogue One is like the Jyn Arso card and Krennic.
And Saw Gerrera.
Right? Is he a card? He's not a card in Armada.
I don't know.
He's an X-Wing for sure.
X-Wing got a bunch of stuff, but
you know, we got 2 cards from Rogue One. We don't have the fucking Starfighters. We don't have
like where is the like
where
$70 or $80 shield gate that includes like the U-Wing and TIE Reaper like squadrons, right?
Listen to me. I would pay $80 fucking for a shield gate with a campaign pack in it.
Here's the thing. A shield gate as a piece of plastic is gonna be larger than an ISD, right?
Probably. I mean, it doesn't have to be that fucking big. Look, if it's
a sliding scale, but it needs to be larger than an ISD, at least a little bit larger.
Right? No, it doesn't.
I mean, it can't be smaller than an ISD.
Look. How big are the asteroids in the game of Armada?
They're rocks. It can be any size.
They're rocks. It doesn't fucking matter. Is the point I'm making? It doesn't matter how big it is.
It's got to be big. A big old honking shield gate. And
look, if it is at least 1.5 times the size of an ISD, I'm fucking fine.
So you agree?
It's got to be a it's got to be a game piece. It can't just be like half the fucking field. You know, you've got to be able to play around it.
I agree.
Look, it's ridiculous to me that it hasn't happened already. Not just the shield gate, because that is like, okay, like that's kind of a difficult thing to like sell.
Yeah,
I guess, but I don't understand what kind of like sensible, self-respecting Armada player wouldn't buy a fucking shield gate with a campaign pack.
or
Just that alone.
3D terrain, right? Like
3D terrain is debatable. That's like, you know, if you want 3D terrain, you've already got the obstacles. You don't. But if you're playing Armada and you aren't gonna buy a fucking shield gate with campaign pack, like I don't want to talk to you.
Well, maybe only one person in the friend group buys the shield gate with campaign pack, right? And like everyone comes to play, like you know, right? Like not everyone needs a shield gate.
I need the shield gate is what I'm saying.
Right.
But also, like this is the part of the conversation that I'm yielding. Like, I can understand why they haven't done this. What I don't get is why there isn't like U-Wings or Reapers or Strikers. Why don't we have those?
Well,
why the fuck don't we have those?
I think so. Here's my thought. Right.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of is that they need more than just 2 things to put in a pack. And they kind of got around it with the Chimera by including the Mandalorian Gauntlet Fighters, which are terrible, but
they are fucking awful, dude.
I hope that the next time they revisit the Galactic Civil War era, that whatever ship they have, they're like, oh, and here's a couple of the squadrons that, like, we don't have enough to do like Rebel Squadrons 3, right? But here's this, right? And I think the problem is they don't have enough to do Rebel Squadrons 3 unless like there would be like you said, like a Blue Squadron like alt cards.
Look,
but
it's not that fucking hard. You do Blue Squadron, you do U-Wings, you do Vanguard Squadron, Vanguard Squadron Y-Wings, and you just
Alphabet Squadron and all that.
Alphabet Squadron.
Alphabet Squadron.
Any of the other squadrons.
Like, yeah, but I you know, those are the same models for the most part, so I wonder if they were just kind of like, it's not that big a deal, right? But like, obviously, like U-Wings and Reapers, like adding additional stuff into the whole raid mechanic, is, you know, raid is a cool idea that they need to, I think, establish more in the game, because like some games, like I don't even like more games I should need to take out my raid tokens than the percentage that I currently do, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I am excited for whatever they do next. I don't think we'll see any kind of progress until 2022 at all.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like this is what we get for this year.
No. You think Wave 10 is it? No, I don't think Wave 10
for the year. What are you
I don't think
about?
that's it for the year. I think that there is one more wave coming in 2021.
No way.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about, you think that the Wave 10 that was supposed to be released in December that got pushed back?
Because Wave 9 was December, which was Clone Wars launch.
Which also got pushed back from November.
Okay, fine. But I think that there will be one more wave this year.
I don't agree with that. Look, this is FFG's swan song right now. This is their final calling. This is their death rattle.
No, this is not their death rattle. First of all, don't bring Hearthstone into this. Second of all,
death rattle is just a normal word.
No, it's not.
It's not just a keyword, dude.
It's a keyword in Hearthstone. It's that's it.
Just because you play a lot of Hearthstone doesn't mean I can't say death rattle.
No, I haven't played Hearthstone in years, but I have not heard death rattle since the last time I played Hearthstone.
That's because I haven't had a chance to use it until today. All right?
Okay, this is not the final sputterings of FFG. I know this. In my soul.
This?
I know this in my soul.
You know this
I don't
in your soul.
actually know this. We're not actually connected. We just like to pretend that we're connected.
How cool would it be if we were connected?
Not that cool, because then we couldn't say whatever we wanted.
I would get immediately fired from whatever information. I would just say it. I would be like, I have a feeling in my bones
that this
on
the internet. Now they're never going to talk to us.
They shouldn't talk to us. I was thinking about this. I was like, dude, I really hope one of these people from AMG don't like approach us and try and get on the podcast. 'Cause, it'll be a fucking nightmare.
The only reason they should come on the podcast is if they want us to spill everything they tell us, right? That's it.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
The last thing I'll say about this is Wave 11 is a 2021 product.
Okay,
And-
that's bold.
And it is one ship each for the Clone Wars factions and one squadron pack each for the Clone Wars factions. And that will be the last thing that has FFG logos on it.
That's bold, dude. That's really bold.
I'm planting my flag on the moon here.
Are you going to take the bet on this? Because I'll put it in the show notes that you bet that 2021 will have product. Okay, 2021.
We'll
Deej
have
says
one more wave of product.
We'll have product from FFG.
Uh-huh.
All right,
with FFG logo on it. Yeah.
With FFG logo on it. That's what I'm putting down. Look, all you listeners out there. He's saying we're going to have all fucking 10 of you. Dude, I think actually like 60 people listen to this.
You think every time a new episode comes out, there's 60 downloads?
No, I'm saying the last time I put an episode out, there has been like more than 60 downloads. So I know sometimes I delete episodes and re-download them for the numbers, but I'm saying I don't do it 60 fucking times. So all you 60 listeners out there, place your bets. When the YouTube video comes out, put it in the comments what you're betting. 2021, Deej says we're having product. I say that's bullshit.
Okay, well, you know, only time will tell. And when I'm right,
I say I agree with you. Time does tell. In the last 6 years of Armada, there's never been like a double dipping year. In the last 3 years or whatever, you know? Like, when was the last time we had product before
I'm saying
Clone
that this
Wars?
is a special occasion. Also, I'm gonna amplify the bet with my punishment if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Which is that for an episode on the YouTube channel, you can build my fleet. And I have to play it. And if you're wrong, I can build your fleet and you have to play it.
Okay.
Now it's spicy.
Dude, I'll take that. Okay. We got fucking bets in this.
Your
in
shit's
this episode.
Gonna be interdictors with MS1 ion cannons or whatever the fuck.
Alright, well you're gonna have
with Tarkin as the commander.
I'm gonna make you have B-Wings with CR90s.
They can each command one per turn.
They can each command fucking one. You're gonna have like 16 B-Wings. No way to push them all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's fine.
All right. Let's go on to segment 2.
Okay.
Since we rambled for 30 fucking minutes about...
It has been dude, the Unconventional Warfare stuff, there was a lot to talk about there. I thought that was it was really interesting, and I really liked it.
Wave 10. We got
Wave
all
10.
of the final cards for Wave 10.
Also, before we keep going on this...
for fuck's sake.
On everything for the last episode, I put Wave 11. Because I thought that the last wave was the Clone Wars starters, and that was Wave 10.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
So we got all of the titles, and we got all of the, like, cool cards, basically. Because they hadn't really shown us any cool upgrade cards before this.
Yeah, they showed us, like commanders and officers. But these are, like, the specialty upgrade cards that we're talking about now.
Okay, so let's roll into them. Now, we don't need to talk about the commanders, right? We already did that.
Yeah, we already did that. If you want to listen to us talk about the commanders the way we feel about them, you can go into the last episode. I really just have the commanders up here just for our reference. And because some interactions with the cards directly influence like the way the commanders play. And just so that we have an idea of that.
I am obsessed with the first one, which is thermal shields as a defensive upgrade.
Okay, so I knew that this upgrade was going to be called thermal shields because that's Admiral Trench's business. It's thermal shields.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would play out like this. I assumed that it would be like you can't be attacked by squadrons unless, some shit happens, because that was kind of a plot of the episode.
Right.
But it apparently is better than what I thought it would be. So medium or large ship only. While defending, after the attacker gathers dice, you may spend 1 brace token. If you do, choose and remove half of the dice in the attack pool rounded down.
For 5
It's
points.
for 5 points for public. It's Clone Wars era only.
So can I talk about the first insane part of this? Which is you get to pick as the defender which half of the attack pool to remove, right? So if like an ISD rolls up to you with 8 fucking dice, 4 red, 4 blue, you can pre-brace and remove all the blue dice. What?
Well,
That's nuts, right?
I'd remove all the red.
What? You would? The blue dice always is something.
Yeah, but the amount of damage potential.
You're basically saying you're now at long range.
But the red dice you can get
roll
double hits, and
and
the blue die the average you would get hit
2 or
crit
3
double
damage.
accuracy maybe,
Right,
2
it'd be
or 3
2.5
damage.
damage.
And it's like, okay,
But the Reds can blink, baby. The Reds can blink. That's what I'm talking about.
that's true. I mean, if you're feeling lucky, you can do that. But the thermal shields follows a trend for this wave of Armada where you can spend defense tokens out of the spend defense tokens step.
Yep.
Before the attacker gathers dice, before whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's spending in advance your defense tokens for an alternate effect, which I think is a pretty cool design space.
Yeah, for sure.
And generally, it's really thematic for Clone Wars. It gives them their own sense of identity, where they get to pre-spend their defense tokens for, cutting half your defense pool away. This doesn't seem overly powerful. It seems very strong against things like ISDs and Venators with some shenanigans.
It's strong when the brace token is already like a good token to spend, right? It's actually not that good against squadrons unless only one is
terrible.
Right, like
terrible
unless a
squadrons.
1 dice squadron attacks you and it's the only attack you're getting that turn, in which case you can basically make it not do damage, right? Like that's one, like you can do that, but like when brace is awesome, thermal shields is double awesome, right? Like
exactly.
SSD is shooting you, Starhawk is shooting you,
and if
like
you've
that
got
kind of stuff.
the Invincible title, which gives you an additional defensive retrofit. So you thermal shields, brace, and then Invincible with ECM.
Right.
And so you can always redirect. It's incredible.
And they can't lock it down, right? Because you spent it before they rolled.
Exactly.
It's nuts. And then, like, the other thing you can do is, like, look at their card upgrades and be like, oh, he's got Ordnance Experts, or, oh, he's got APTs, but guess what? Now you don't have black dice, right? Like, I took them away, so you can't even get the advantage of, like, your combo wombo,
insane,
right? Like, Screed, how about Screed with no black dice? Get fucked, right? Like, it's so
exactly.
nuts.
Or if they've got, like, if you don't want to spend the officer slot to get damage control officer, now you can just, get thermal shields in there, take away all their black die, and then not have to worry about their black die crit. Or guess what? What if they're rolling up against you with heavy ion emplacements? You don't want to take that shield damage? Take all their blue dice away.
It's so crazy, right?
Or if you've got some guy rolling up on you with an onager, and he's got the onager super heavy turbo laser cannon, you're like, well, you don't have red dice now.
Yeah.
So good luck getting that crit. And if you do get it because you have a shitload of red dice, I can't remove them all, you do 2 damage.
Right.
All right? We're at round 2. So I'll spend that brace for that effect. Thank you very much.
Yep.
It seems very good, very versatile, and it's not priced out of existence. So
I think it's part of an effort to bring the factions of the Clone Wars to power parity with the original factions.
I agree with that entirely. Thermal shields is amazing, and it's exactly like you said.
If you have one defensive
card.
Retrofit, is it the best one to take?
Yes.
I would say in any situation where you would want to take ECM, it's better. And in any situation where you would want to take early warning system, you would still take early warning system. like if I'm coming up against a bunch of CR90s with TRC, right? Like thermal
Mhm.
shields is not that good as early warning system is, right? Because like you're dropping a die from every single shot. If you're getting multiple
You want to hear
shots,
something really good?
Hmm.
So the Providence class destroyer or carrier,
Yep.
it already comes with defensive retrofit. With the title, it can have double defensive
So you can
retrofit,
get thermal and
shields,
DCM.
and early warning systems.
Yes.
Which means you cut their shot by 1 die, and then you remove half of that. So now the ISD is shooting you with 2 dice.
You remove half, and then you take 1.
I think it's the same either way.
No, it's
Unless
actually I'm
is
wrong.
it not?
No,
Yeah,
because early warning, you remove the die before they gather dice, right?
Yeah.
So it's obstructed. So that's actually the worst way mathematically to do it, because like let's say they had 8 dice. If you go half to 4 and then down to 3, that would be really good. But it's actually going -1 to 7, half to 3. Oh, it's the same. It's rounded down.
It's rounded down. Yeah, it's the same. That's what I mean. It's the same.
All right, let's move on to flak guns. Because we'll talk about
flak guns. This will be it. Is my favorite card so far.
Well, we've only looked at 2, so you're saying it's more favorite than thermal shields?
Yes, because it's more aggressive.
Treat each die in your anti-squadron armament as black while performing a salvo attack. The black dice can be used at medium range, and the blue dice can be used at long range, 3 points. It's cheap, which I like.
Ooh, it's so cheap. This is the most offensive retrofit I've ever seen in my entire life, other than rapid launch bays. Because this is a rapid launch based podcast.
The really nice thing about black guns, I think, is actually the salvo portion of it.
Obviously,
like
it's the salvo
anti-squadron armament.
The anti-squadron is a negative. That's the negative.
Because you're losing range, right? Let's say you have like a double blue dice ship, and now it's double black.
Now it's double black. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll do more damage, but they're more likely to not be at range, right?
Well, the first sentence in flak guns means this is what happens so that you can pay only 3 points to have this amazing effect at the end.
Yeah, I guess so. But also, let's say that you put this on the ship that they're coming after, right? The squadrons are coming after your big kahuna, right?
Mm-hmm.
Putting flak guns on it when it's normally double blue dice and making them double black is fine, because they're going to try to get into close range, and you'll do a lot more damage, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's situations where flak guns both effects are great. I wouldn't put this on one of the CR90s that has double blue, because I'm losing so much range on my shots. But I would.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't put it on a CR90 anyway.
Well, why not?
Because
okay,
I think those are throwaway ships. Just whatever.
Anyway, so let's talk about the salvo change.
The salvo change. So basically, it bumps up the range of your salvo by 1 range band, which is
nuts,
fucking amazing.
Yep.
I love salvo. I love its addition into the game ever since it was first introduced. I think it is the way that Armada needs to go, and increasing its effectiveness with an upgrade card, where now a lot of the offensive retrofit that's starting to become highly contested.
Yeah,
with all these cool offensive retrofit cards. There are some builds that I've done where I was like, well, shit, I really want flak guns, but I also kind of want to put flag bridge and have a fleet command. Yeah. So is it worth it to skip flak guns for extra effectiveness for my other ships? It's
right.
Man, I don't know. Maybe I'll just run more aggressive into their fleet. Maybe it's fine, It's kind of getting me into a difficult decision before I was just no offensive retrofit. I don't need expanded hangar bay.
It's good. It's obviously giving you an advantage, because salvo is based on the range that they're shooting you at, right? So if they're only shooting you with red dice, you're getting red and blue, right? If they're shooting you with blue dice, you get all 3, so it's really nice all the time.
Yeah. Also, this is one of the tandem cards that is coming out, where it works extremely well with another card that we're going to get to, and that increases its effectiveness even more.
Doesn't it work really well with one of the... you're talking about Well, I think there's 2 cards that make it work really well.
Yeah, exactly, and we're gonna get to that.
Okay, so we'll move on to Hot Landing then.
Okay, so Hot Landing. Let me just say, this is the most flavorful card, one of the most flavorful cards that has come out ever.
There's a lot of flavor in this wave.
It's so it's muy beneficio.
Stop it. Never do that. At the start of the squadron phase, friendly squadrons with Adept gain Grit until the end of the phase. Okay. And then when a friendly squadron with Adept is destroyed, you may choose one enemy ship at distance 1 to 2 of that squadron. If you do, that ship gains 1 raid token of your choice, 3 points. Now, it's interesting because it's Republic or Confederacy. It's the fleet command upgrade, right?
Yeah. But only for 3 points. Cheapest
but
fleet
why
command.
Is it both factions? There's not any squadrons.
Well, the Separatists are going to get the Sith Infiltrator in Squadron Pack 2.
Okay.
Obviously.
Darth Maul. So he can hotland.
It's the same as Clone Commander Wolf.
Okay, does this make you want to take a bunch of neutral Jedi? I don't think so, right?
No, dude.
It just is like a perk for your 3 named Jedi that you bring, right? Like,
no, it's not. This is a trap card.
What do you mean a trap?
This is you're losing card, so here's some mild benefit, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like cards like this. Because listen, what kind of squadrons do you normally run in Republic? You run like 4 V19s, Luminar and Plo. Okay, what happens when Luminar and Plo both die?
You've lost the game already.
Exactly. Because you've lost all your V19s and all your Arc 170s. You lost everything already. So here's a raid token.
Right.
Are you gonna play that game where you don't have Intensify Firepower or Evasive Maneuvers as a fleet command? No. Not gonna do that.
I agree. It's a lot of fun though.
It is a lot of fun.
I don't think it's competitive. I agree that I don't think it's competitive.
Well, unless there are some other rules that happen where like it makes it easier to cut through like escort, if snipe is more prevalent. This is more of like a Republic versus Republic card where someone has like Ahsoka and they're trying to snipe your Jedi and your Jedi are close to their ships and then boom, raid token, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cheap enough to where if you do bring it and you really only get to use it once, it's not that bad.
But like, what if you brought a bunch of neutral Jedi, you know, and it's like no big deal that they're dying and you're getting the raid token, right? Like, I don't know.
I guess if you want to run like only neutral Jedi and
not only, but like, you know.
But I mean,
it could be cool. It could be cool.
Neutral Jedi is like 17 points, you know? Just bring fucking 7 of them.
Right, and then like those raid tokens dropping all, like you're just like raid tokening all over their shit. That'd be cool.
I mean, the Delta 7s, they're like air superiority fighters. So like if you bring some token Delta 7s and no V19s, it's no skin off your back, you know?
Yeah. It's tough because like you said, like if you've invested a bunch into your squadrons, and they're dying, like
you're losing.
You know, like named Jedi are dying early enough in the game for raids to be a big deal.
If you're spending as much points as you should be for Republic squadrons, and those squadrons are dying, you're losing.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, like if my vultures die, like I don't give a shit because they're 8 points, but a Delta 7 is 17 points.
Yeah.
Like, okay. This is kind of like
okay,
I'm doing bad at the game. And I'm
imagine this scenario. Imagine this scenario, right?
I'm imagining.
Okay, imagine that in the next wave, a Yoda commander card comes out that gives squadrons adept if they're like the generic squadrons.
That will not happen.
Like a battle, like meditation kind of ability where like, okay, now every V19 has adept and like it's just like raid tokens all over the places they're dying.
That would be ridiculous. I don't think that would happen at all.
All right,
Adept is so good.
If AMG's still listening, you know, hook a brother up.
AMG, if you're listening, do not do that because Adept is so fucking good.
It's not that good. It's just a reroll.
It's a reroll when attacking. Okay? So if you've got an Acclimator with Navuta B and you've got V19s that have Adept, you get double rerolls, which is insane.
It's not that insane. They're V19s.
It's pretty insane.
All right, moving on.
Well, now your V19s, when they die, they can raid my ships. So fuck off.
Yes.
Now
Okay.
this
So
is my favorite card in the game.
DBY 827 Heavy Turbo Laser. When you perform a salvo attack, you may change a die to a face with a critical icon, 3 points. And that's the Turbo Laser upgrade, right?
Yep.
This is so good.
It's so insanely good. I don't understand why it's 3 points. This should be 5 points.
With
This should be 5 points in a mod.
Like with flat guns, you're talking about like, oh, I get my hit crit black guaranteed at medium range.
Exactly. It's like this should be 5 points in a mod. This is so fucking insane.
Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. It's only 3 points. It's just the opportunity cost of like, okay, well, your turbo laser effect only happens when you're salvoing, right?
Yeah. Which is
That's
shitty, but it's no skin off my back when I'm running the Providence class Dreadnought. So.
All right. So those are some
this is just one of those amazing cards that just doesn't have. There's not much to say about it. It's just incredible.
Yeah. So those are some of the cool upgrades. Are these the ones that come in the Providence?
Yeah.
Or did you?
Yeah. These are all Providence ones.
Okay. So we got some Providence titles also. Lucid Voice. Treat your rear hull zone's printed battery armament as 3 red dice. The battery armament of your left and right hull zones are each increased by 1 black die and decreased by 1 blue die for 8 points. What do you think about this?
This is the most complicated card to create an effective flagship with. This is so difficult that I don't think it's worth the point investment.
Why?
So there. I mean,
isn't this like a Link Turbo Laser Tower's best friend? Like 3 red dice on flak?
I mean, you would think, but you're investing a lot. You're changing your salvo to 3 red die, which is okay, but you're also losing a blue. You're only blue out your sides unless you're doing a carrier. And if you're putting Lucid Voice on a carrier, then you're not running the most effective version of Providence, which is the Dreadnought. So
why can't you run Lucid Voice on a Dreadnought?
No, you can. I'm just saying, if you do run Lucid Voice, you lose your only blue.
That means you can't like leading shots or whatever.
You can't leading shots. More importantly, you don't get fucking accuracies ever because you can only accuracy out of reds, and you need accuracies to do damage. So then you need to use high capacity ion turbines to give you another blue out the side. So you have 3 black, 3 red, 1 blue at the side. So you have some kind of normalcy. But then you don't have a mod slot, so you can't do anything cool with your damage. So it's complicated. It's a weird card, and it's like it kind of wants to be evasive, where it's staying on the edges, so you can kind of red die out the sides. And I don't know. It's the most complicated of the 3 Providence class titles for sure.
Okay, so moving on to the least complicated.
I haven't found something that's effective.
Invincible. Gain a defensive icon on your upgrade bar for 5 points. What do you think about this?
It's amazing. It's the best one out of the 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Just bar none. You put ECM, early warning system on it, thermal shields on the other slot, or it makes your Dreadnought bulkier. Because I feel like the Providence class Dreadnought is the way to go. Carrier, I don't know. It just doesn't seem as good. It's got too many colors of dice in its attack pool. It's like 2 red, 2 blue, 2 black. There's no focus.
Yeah.
I don't like ships that don't have a focus. But Invincible is amazing. Seems a little expensive.
5 points.
5 points. It's
like you said, being able to thermal shields and early warning system at the same time is nuts. So there's got to be some kind of like attraction to that.
Yeah, it seems really good. This is definitely the flagship's title.
It's also the cheapest title.
It is.
Okay, and then we have Invisible Hand as the 3rd title, and this is the Squadron one, right?
Yeah, this is the most expensive one.
It's
out of
basically
all of them.
rapid launch phase plus.
It's catapult rapid launch phase. Yeah.
It's really good.
It's I don't know if it's good. It's cool, but it's like super expensive because
it has to be, because I think you're gonna walk up to a ship and delete it.
It's like it's not just 9 points though. It's like it's 49 points.
Because of the squadrons.
because of the squadrons you have to take.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't work on its own. You're kind of telegraphing what you want to do. So they just keep all their squadrons. It's
But
like,
what you're doing, right? What you're doing is moving a ship. Like you need first player, I think, for this, right?
no, I don't think so.
You move it up at speed 3, like as the last activation, and you take the officer that lets you squadron command after you move, and then you come up there and you fucking delete this motherfucker. And if he's still alive, you activate him first next turn and finish him off and move on with your life. Like, one ship on enemy team gets deleted for 50 points. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's like,
Unless they have squadrons like there, and it's like, it's the same kind of resolution as the rapid launch base shenanigans.
it's like
And it's like, you
rapid
just
launch
keep your
base, but I'm going
keep your shit
all
near
in, like extra hard rapid launch base. Because you can
Yeah.
also take rapid launch base.
Yeah, I don't think that's viable at all. I think that's actually terrible.
It's absurd and
Yeah.
great. Okay. Last card for this section, right? Oh, I guess we have the officers, but I want to talk about
Yeah, we got
Jedi
the
Hostage, which is
This is another one of those
fleet command.
fucking amazingly
so
flavorful cards.
This card, and I want to talk about it with a couple of different interactions that we've seen already. But it's when an
Okay.
enemy ship declares you as the target of a non-salvo attack. If this card is readied, the attacker gains a raid token of its choice. All right, so anytime a ship attacks you, they get a raid token.
Yep.
Right. If the enemy ship at close range reveals a command, it may discard a squadron dial only to exhaust this card. While defending, if this card is exhausted, you cannot spend more than one defense token for 3 points. Right. What do you think about this card?
Intensely flavorful. It would be cool to build a fleet around Jedi Hostage.
Yeah.
But you're building a fleet around a card that, if the opponent is playing well against you or has any kind of corvette and you lose the bid, you essentially lose the game.
Oh, I think that's too dramatic. I think it's too dramatic
It's
to
not
say
too
that
what?
if Jedi
What are you
Hostage is
talking
tapped,
about?
you lose the game because you can only spend one defense token at a time. Like,
What
I
are
don't
you
think that's
talking
that crazy.
about? What? Okay, so if you put a Venator on the board,
Yeah.
and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, well, I've got a Speed 4 ship and I'm first player.
Yep.
So I'm going to completely delete you being able to use 3 of your defense tokens in any attack for the rest of the game. You think that's too dramatic?
I think that it's going to be difficult for you to pull that off without a downside of your own. And I don't think, you can only spend one defense token per shot.
The problem with it is that I get the downside too. Sure, first player gets a downside, but I have a downside too for paying for an upgrade card.
3 points. Yeah.
Why do I
That's
get
a 1%?
Why do I get
1% of your cost? 1% of your fleet cost you're talking about. Not even.
It's like, fuck. It's a super cool card. I just don't think it's gonna be very good unless you have like Dooku and those rocket droids and whatever the fuck else. I don't know. It's hard to convince me to put this on like a flagship.
Well, you don't put it on a flagship then. Put it on another ship.
Bro, what the fuck do you think I'm gonna do?
I don't think you're gonna put it on any ship.
No, I'm for sure gonna put this on a ship. I think it's hilarious. The problem with Jedi Hostage is that the Providence carrier is the only one with fleet command.
Yikes! So you have to put it on that.
Unless I want to do flag bridge, which means I have to put my commander on that ship.
Yeah.
Which is not really good because it.
So Jedi Hostage, as of right now, can only go on a big expensive ship.
Yeah, unless you're trying to like do some shenanigans with it. But then if you're doing shenanigans, you're already like at a disadvantage, and then you're taking a card that doesn't give you so much of an advantage. You know, it's like a raid token for a ship. You know.
Yeah.
And then if you play wrong, or if your opponent is playing well and they, take back the Jedi Hostage, like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, you don't have a Pelta that can take a fleet command.
Yeah, it's like, ugh.
Like I can literally put hot landing on a Pelta.
Yeah, see, that's pretty okay.
And
but,
like it's not that big a deal to spend 3 points, and all of my squadrons that have adept, can raid, and all I'm doing is putting a fucking fleet command on a Pelta for 40 points, right? Like it's not that big a deal.
The thing with Jedi Hostage is if you lose first player, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because if they have any kind of ship that can go speed 3 or 4, they're going to get the hostage back. It's just going to happen.
Can't it being squadron rated prevent it, or is it able to just...
No. It can just discard the squadron dial. They don't have to spend the dial.
See, what you need is slicer tools on another ship nearby.
The only ship that can take slicer tools is the hard cell transport.
Bring a couple hard cell transports with slicer tools, and that will never happen to you.
You're making a case for things that are just not going to happen. Like, okay, so talk to me about this. Talk to me about this scenario, okay? So I have a slicer tools hard cell.
Yep.
You have a speed 3 or 4 ship, which for the Republic and basically anyone else is like a CR90.
Yep.
Okay, so I slicer tools that, and then what happens?
Well, then I can't squadron command dial because you change it.
What happens is if I can slicer tools the CR90 or the CR70, I have first player.
Right.
And if I have first player, I should just activate the ship and move it out of close range.
Yeah.
But if I don't have first player, I can't slicer tools them because they only have one command.
You're right.
So slicer tools doesn't really work for keeping your Jedi hostage safe.
But also they're gonna kamikaze like a ship in on the hopes that it can get off the squadron dial before you kill it, because the Providence dice are not nothing, right? Like you could just delete a fucking CR90 if it just decides to scroll up to the side of you like that. Like
you can maybe delete a CR90,
especially if it's taking fire on the way in. I think it can definitely just die.
But if you can delete a CR90 before it takes the Jedi hostage, you have first player, which is the whole thing with Jedi hostage. You have to secure first player with Jedi hostage.
I think you're right for the most part, but I think that this interaction that we're describing is what would make a match with Jedi hostage in play really cool.
I agree that playing with Jedi hostage is really cool. I'm going to play with Jedi hostage, no doubt about it. I'm going to play it a lot. Because I'm going to try and make it interesting and crazy.
What if you're going up against a fleet that doesn't have corvettes in it,
I know, right? Then it's crazy.
Right. Then imagine an ISD and I don't know, what do people with ISDs fly with? They've only got 3 ships and none of them are particularly fast or scary, right? So
what I'm thinking about, which is why I'm saying that Lucid Voice is such a complicated ship to build around, is the Providence class carrier with Jedi hostage. It's got, Lucid Voice, so it has the 3 red salvo, Link Turbo Laser Tower, and the Phylon Q7 tractor beam.
Slow things down.
So that they can't get close.
That's cool.
But it's fucking complicated is what I'm saying. Let's get to TF-1726, which is the second commander for the Recusant, which is a trend I really like. That
dual commanders for one ship.
Dual command is so good.
Yep.
This guy is hot shit. He's probably the second best commander for the Separatists.
Once per activation, while a friendly ship is attacking a ship, the attacker adds 1 black die to its attack pool for each raid token the defender has to a maximum of 2 additional dice. So he wants to be played with Jedi hostage.
No. Nobody wants to be... Look, we're not talking about Jedi hostage as a build-around card. It's a flavor card that can be... Okay, it's cool. It's not the card for TF-1726.
So B2 rocket troopers, while performing a non-salvo attack against a ship at close to medium range, you may exhaust this card. If you do, the defender gains a raid token of your choice. While attacking a squadron, you may exhaust this card. If you do, add 1 die of a color that's already in your attack pool to your attack pool. Okay, so when you're attacking a ship at close to medium range, you tap him, boom, they get a raid token. You do this once per round, right? Because it's the refresh once per round automatically. If you attack a squadron, you can tap him to basically be extra die on the squadron.
Extra die, yeah.
for 7 points, and it's the offensive retrofit, which is pretty contested these days. But this is a cool card, and you're right, it interacts well with TF 1726.
Well, the B2 rocket troopers, while attacking a squadron, that isn't restricted by range. So you can B2 rocket troopers and link turbo laser towers. You can have like a fucking, what is it, 4 die or 5 die attack on a squadron.
Yeah.
Which
That'd
is
be
pretty cool. Pretty good.
Sure.
But really, it's the guarantee of a raid before you attack when you're at close medium range.
It's good.
Really good. It's basically 7 points to add a black die to your attack.
Because it triggers TF 1726 immediately.
Yes. And then you have basically whatever other upgrades. You can have rapid reload or any other shenanigans that you want, external racks, to add more black die. It's really good.
It's also, you choose
and you also
the
give it a
token,
raid. You choose the raid.
Which is better than Jedi Hostage. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird sometimes
and
the way that they choose.
If you got multiple ships, then you can get up to 2 black die, which I think is kind of unlikely during the course of the game, unless you have things like Jedi Hostage and Dooku. But if you got first player...
I don't think it's unlikely. You just have 2 ships with B2 rocket troopers, right? The second shot, second ship shooting would definitely get 2 dice.
You say definitely, like they wouldn't clear the raid, like someone's not trying to play around the TF 1726.
I mean, yeah, if they activate that particular ship in between those 2 ships specifically, then yeah, but like, in the heat of a game, like that's not always like an option. Like sometimes maybe they activate that ship first, right? And then there's nothing it can do until next round.
Yeah,
so
that's why I say it's unlikely, just not that it's impossible.
Like TF on he's got like tri-recusants with B2 rocket troopers, raid tokens going out all over the place. Like that's cool.
Tri-recusants? What kind of person do you know who would do that?
You are gonna have tri-recusants, no question.
You don't know.
I know. There's nothing you want to do more than run tri-recusants.
I will say that is like half of the list that I've come up with
and it's double recusants. Offensive retrofit, which is so good, right?
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about them necessarily as like squadron pushers, right? Because like, yes, you can use them that way, but like,
I do think that the recusant is one of the best squadron pushers in Separatists right now.
Right, but like you can go like flak guns, B2 rocket troopers, right? Like that's cool stuff.
Yeah, that is cool stuff.
All right, next one. Point defense ion cannons, non-huge ship only. While defending at close range or distance 1, during the spend defense token step, you may force the attacker to reroll 1 die of your choice. What do you think about this?
I'm kind of contested about this. Because, like, the best bombers, what do the best bombers say to you?
2 blue dice. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So it's like, the best bombers have 2 blue dice. Which means that this doesn't really do much to those.
Right.
So it's like, okay.
But the worst bombers have a black or a red.
Yeah.
Or a single blue. And those are usually like, if it's a red, like you're like, fuck it. Like I'm probably going to
really you want to take this to clear the damage from non-bomber squadrons.
Right.
So if you're going really light with squadrons and, they have some bombers, but a lot of their other squadrons aren't bombers that are just like cutting right through to hull, you can just make them re-roll it. That's really good.
I think this is an interesting card. Is it an ion cannon upgrade?
Yeah, it's ion cannon 4 points.
This is a cool card because if you have a capital ship that you just, you want them to be as safe as possible, right? Like you can put your early warning system as the defensive slot and then put this in the ion slot, and it's like, I think like the Providence is like, is that the only ion cannon ship? Like, fuck, I don't know, but like in the Clone Wars era,
Munificent has ion cannon.
Like the Republic has no ion cannon upgrades.
Well, the Separatists have shit for blue dice, so
right.
It's like if I put an ion crit effect, it's like not going to happen ever.
So you can. That's why the opportunity cost is really low, right? Because like, what other thing are you going to put? Like the only competition for this is like leading shots, where you can just like say, I'll just take away this blue die and re-roll my other shit. But if that's not what you're going for, like you just throw this on there and you're like, okay, I'm really kind of quite safe from squadrons because early warning system is going to cut them down to 1 dice or no dice, and then the die that they do roll, I'm going to make them re-roll to like clear damage, right? So I think it will help a lot. I expected a point defense ion cannons to be something that would do damage to squadrons when they shot you, but maybe that was just too powerful.
Well, it's the ion cannon, so it's basically just
Stunning them.
stunning the ships. Yeah, so it's not.
I guess that's fair.
It's not really hurting them. I don't think this is very good. The best, like I said, the best squadrons that have bomber are double blue. So it's like, okay, you make them re-roll, and then they roll into a crit or a hit or something. It's like,
but they might
sometimes,
but if it's a hit and you tell them to re-roll, yeah, exactly. You maybe make the crit into a hit. You maybe make the hit into an accuracy.
But I don't like bringing cards where I'm like, maybe it'll do something. I just don't like that. I would rather have a 4-point bid.
Yeah, I agree. Titles. Is there 2 or 3 for this one? There's 3.
There's 3.
Nova Defiant. Weird. Nova Defiant has on the left-hand side 4 with all of the token options, and then it says when you're deployed, you must choose 1 of each type of command token for this card. It increases your command value to 4. You can be assigned more than 1 of each type of command token, and when you reveal a command, you may discard all of the tokens from this card to gain them. What do you think about this?
It's crap.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a crap card. Yeah. Increase your command value to 4.
It's auto. It's auto crap immediately there, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so dog shit. Unless you have like a ship that's only going to be doing one kind of thing,
right?
And then you have to have engineering, nav, squadron, concentrate fire.
You can't pick like 4 squadron command tokens.
Exactly, which is like that would be too busted for sure. You may discard all the tokens from this card to gain them, which is like cool because your command value is now 4, but you have 4 squadron, or you have 4 command dials, so it's like, okay, I've got a big penalty.
Yeah, I mean, like basically what would happen is, round 1, you're taking all 4 tokens and putting them on your ship, right? And then throughout the game, like you're maybe getting more, or you're just burning them up, but it's just like it's not. I don't like this.
Yeah. Well, really, like I see this card and I'm like, oh, that is like really cool to activate, like with T-Series Tactical Droid, who wants a bunch of tokens,
right?
But I don't think T-Series Tactical Droid is very good either.
As an officer for 4 points, he's pretty good.
No, he's not.
Why?
It's just not. It's just not good. Is what? It's like it consumes your command tokens. It needs to be refreshed. It's just like it's too much for not a lot.
Yeah.
And the officers, they're better officers.
There are a lot
that
of good officers.
There's a lot of good officers here.
All right, let's talk about then some other titles. Gilded Aegis. At the end of the command phase or ship phase, you may discard a redirect token. Discard, gone. It's ruined. To move shields to 1 of your hull zones. What? If you do, the number of shields in that zone cannot exceed a maximum of 6. You cannot recover shields in that zone while it's greater than the maximum shield value. So,
this is of the 3 recusant titles, this is the worst one.
So basically, this guy starts with 3-3-3-2, and you can be like, oh, now one of my shield zones has no shields, and I can put 6 in one of them, as an example.
Yep.
Bad. The only time this is good, there's like 2 instances I can think this is good, right? Let's say it's the beginning of the ship phase or the end of the command phase, right? And you're like staring down an ISD, and he's got a shot on your side arc, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, now it's got 6 shields, motherfucker, right? I'm probably going to live.
I don't think that's a good situation to do that in.
Why? That's a good situation to do that in.
No, it's not. Because you're reducing their options. Okay, so you're saying, I've discarded my redirect, so now you only need 1 accuracy for my burst.
Oh, God.
So now if you do have 2 accuracies, or 3 maybe, well, you just reroll those 2, that's fine. I'm just letting you do more damage to me.
Right.
So
yeah, discarding the defense token is so bad.
It's just not good.
And then like the only other option I think is when I want to use it is like the same situation, but there's like a whole bomber wing at the beginning of the squadron phase, like on 1 arc, right? And you're like, okay, I put more shields there. But the fact that you're not spending, you're discarding a redirect is disgusting. So we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can think of is like some cheesy shit where you have Gilded Aegis and General Grievous, where you discard the redirect token,
and recover it.
you put 6 on one side, then you recover it with Grievous, and then you engineering to get your shields back, and then you Aegis again, and now you've got 6/6/3. But then it's like,
yeah,
no, you're just doing shenanigans right there, and
That's
it's like
cool.
it's still
That's
not
cool.
it's still not good though.
Oh, I mean,
You've invested so many points into like this shit combo, so it's like
no, hold on. General Grievous is a perfectly fine commander on his own. It's not an investment to just bring General Grievous.
General Grievous is a 20-point commander, and that's all he says to me.
He's a 20-point commander that lets you bring back some tokens when your shit's dying. If you bring a lot of squadrons, they're gonna die. You know this about the Separatists. I know this about the Separatists. And so you're recovering tokens. With Gilded Aegis, this actually is an interesting combo because you can still recover shields in the zone that aren't at their maximum shield value, right? It doesn't say you can't recover shields anywhere when there's been cards that are like, you can't recover shields fucking anywhere when you have something over your maximum shield value. But this one, like, you theoretically could end up with like some crazy like 6/6 like 3/2 kind of situation, or even 6/6/6/2 kind of situation if you like played it right.
You could,
which is cool, and then you're still like recovering that token as like things are going on, but like, you know, it is kind of combo-y, and that is difficult to pull off during
it's just cheesy and kind of shitty. So it's like, you know, it's something worth mentioning, but I don't think it'll be worth anything in the long run.
Yeah, and then we've got Patriot Fist. Well, this is the best one, obviously. While attacking a ship, it's like disgusting. While attacking a ship at medium to long range, if this is your first attack during your activation, you may add 2 blue die to your attack pool. If you do, you can't attack again during. This is kind of like an Akbar-esque, like you can only shoot out of your sides, but you get 2 red dice, right? It's like you can only shoot once, but you get 2 blue dice. It's like, hey, that happens. Like one shot happens often. So
yeah,
if this just says sometimes you get 2 extra die for 6 points, like, yes, please, right?
Well, this really just says to me, my Recusant Light Destroyer with Patriot Fist will be throwing. Let's see, I'll have swivel mount batteries on there. Yeah, I'll have APT, whatever, or ACM, however I feel. So I'll be throwing 4 red dice, 2 blue, and 2 black with a concentrate fire at long range with rerolls.
No, 4. Wait, what?
4 black, 4 red, 2 blue, a black, +1 for concentrate.
Okay, whoa.
At long range.
You had 2 blue dice. There's already 2 blue in the front hull zone.
No, Recusant Light Destroyer.
Oh, I'm looking at the support destroyer.
Yeah, so it'll be 4 red, 2 blue,
2 black,
1 black +1 for concentrate.
Yeah,
at long range.
You're gonna swivel a red.
Yeah,
you're not gonna swivel black.
Swivel black.
Oh, from long range.
And then,
that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And that's just 3 upgrades. That's not even talking ordnance experts or Shumai or TF-1726.
Yeah, that's disgusting from long range.
So, yeah,
big damage.
Patriot Fist is the best one. I think if you're running Gilded Aegis or Nova Defiant, you're wrong. Unless you already have Patriot Fist
in your fleet,
in your list. And then you're still wrong because it's better to have just 1 Vulture rather than Nova Defiant or a Gilded Aegis.
So, Separatists got some cool toys. And some of those were like dual faction upgrades, but we got some Republic stuff to go over as well.
To be honest, I love like all the shit that I'm getting Separatists.
Well, except for some of those titles.
Well, here's the thing. Like, just because I'm saying that this is trash tier title or Nova Defiant is obviously the bad choice to take, does not mean I don't appreciate the ability to take it or run it. Because I will be running Nova Defiant for sure. And there's a 100% chance I'm going to make a Gilded Aegis list with General Grievous and Asteroid Tactics.
And see how many shields you can get on it.
And see how many shields I'm going to get on it. Like, it's just fun. I just don't think that it is the best thing to take, which is obviously Patriot Fist.
Right.
Like, nobody can look at these 3 titles and tell me that Patriot Fist isn't the best one.
Right.
That doesn't mean I don't like having Nova Defiant and Gilded Aegis.
That's fair. All right, so let's take a look at the SPHA-T modification. Star Destroyer only.
Well, this
is such a great card.
Oh,
this is a great card.
Me.
So decrease your squadron value by 2. It gives you an ignition close. Each of your front, left, or right firing arcs is also a special firing arc. You have a special battery armament of 5 blue dice and 1 black die. After you place your targeting token, exhaust the card. While this card is exhausted, you cannot place targeting tokens. And then to refresh it, you have to spend a Confire. It's an offensive upgrade for 7 points, Republic only. This card...
This is the one we're going to talk about the longest, for sure.
So the first thing I'll say about this card is this card is almost like... I mean, yes, it's a modification, but it's the closest thing to like an alternate variation of a ship card without it being an alternate variation of a ship card that we've seen from FFG/AMG. Like,
I actually agree
decreasing
with
the
that.
squadron.
Yes.
Right? It's like a Venator 3 class Star Destroyer now, right? It's like you've dropped squadron value, you've changed your arcs, you've got different dice pools. Like, it's like a SPHA-T Venator is like a totally different thing than a Venator 1 or a Venator 2.
Well, I think that the SPA laser cannon is like, that's something that like Anakin modified, where it's, you know, those Geonosian like tanks that shot that super laser beam.
Yeah, that's exactly
in episode 2. It's just that like attached to the underside
in the hangar bay. It's in the hangar bay. That's why the squadron value is decreased.
So let's say a 10 for flavor and a 10 for variability, and just a 10 out of 10 across the board card is amazing.
What do you think about viability?
Super viable. This is super viable, super flexible. This is everything you want in a card. 7 points? Why isn't it 12? It should be 12 points. Are you fucking serious?
So, like, what you're like, okay, so ignition close, like, you're dropping that targeting token, like, at the edge of black dice range, basically, right?
No, not at the edge, within.
Within black.
Within
so
at the
all
border,
the way, you can bump it all the way up to that line, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, anything within blue dice range, you can throw 5 blue dice at.
Yes.
So basically, it's the blue dice effectively can be thrown at long range.
No, I think so for those of you who haven't played with a lot of ignition stuff, it's basically extending your range by close.
Right.
So you'll be able to throw blues at longer than long range, but just a little bit.
Right.
And then at long range, you'll be throwing your blues and blacks, I think, if I'm understanding my measurement correctly. Essentially, this card is saying, out of your front arc, change your long die armament from whatever it is, whether it's the 3 blue, or the 3 red, or the 2 red, you change that to 5 blue die and 1 black die,
right?
Sometimes. Which is incredibly good.
It's incredibly good.
Because you've got your ordnance, so you can do black crits at long range, you know, which is amazing. We all know that.
You can concentrate in a second black.
Concentrate in a second black.
You can swivel mount batteries in another black. No, there's
if you want to go...
only if you're Venator 1s, you can do that.
Yes. And, which is also, like, really, really good. Yeah. But I don't think that is what this is really amazing for. Because it says your front, left, or right firing arcs. What I'm really fucking with is the sides. Because really good on the I've been playing Empire for so long, dude. But getting scooted from, like, someone just... You hammer them hard from your front arc, and they live. And they get out of the front arc, and you can't shoot them with it again. And you get to plink 1 red die out the side.
Yeah.
And it's like a disaster. And then they evade it. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Pre-planning for them evading your front arc. And if they're damaged and they're trying to escape, and you slap them with the SPA cannon and just take them out. It's incredibly good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter if you have them in close range. and you're like, oh, well, I could have just done, the 2 black, red, and a blue out my side if I got a Venator 1, or the 2 red and the 2 blue for Venator 2. It doesn't matter. It's better.
Yeah, it's way better.
It's way better. And you can choose which arc, when you need it. It's
so good.
So incredibly good. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
It's the best Venator card. Now, let me ask you. Do you run this on both your Venators?
I see there's something to be said for dual Venators with SPHA-T. Because even a Venator 2 with it is still a 3 squadron ship.
Yeah.
It's still 3 squadrons. Like, you're just going from
crazy.
absurd to reasonable.
And then if you got Yularen, and he's got a squadron command, it's still...
You're still
squadrons.
activating, like, 5 squadrons, right? Like, it's fine.
So it's crazy.
I'm going to be doing a lot of experimentation, I think, with, okay, is this a Venator 1 card? Is this a Venator 2 card? Is this a both? Is this on one of them? Is this on 2 of them? Is this on, I could see a world where I'm rolling up with 3 Venator 1s with this and, doing a very low squadron.
3 Venators?
They're only
stop.
90, first of all, they're 90 points.
Uh-huh.
Right? Now they're 97 points with this upgrade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And swivel mount batteries, right? APTs, right? No big deal. Ordnance experts, right? And like you said, 5 blue dice, swivel a black. Now I'm at 2. Concentrator black. Now I'm at 3. I can reroll 2 of them, and I got my crit going. The long range, 5 blue, 3 black critting is nuts. And if it's happening from multiple shots in a single round, there are very few things that handle that well. Now, obviously, there's a lot of okay, well, you've got to drop your ignition token. You're kind of set. You're telling them where it's going to be ahead of time, right? But what can they do? That's a lot of range on those cannons, right? So there's something to be said for them as flagship hunters.
Well, also let me tell you, a cool combo with the SPA cannons is the SPA cannon with gunnery teams.
Because you can front arc SPA cannon.
You front arc SPA cannon, you shoot one ship, gunnery teams on another.
Yeah, it's good.
And if you get a double arc on a ship, SPA cannon 1 shot out the side, front arc the other.
It's nuts. It's gonna be so fun.
It's a nuts card.
The whole time that they were revealing the Venators, I was like, dang, that's so few dice. I know they're supposed to be weaker than ISDs, but they're basically the same front arc as Acclimators. What is going on here? And this is boom, SPA cannon.
Yeah.
Actually nutty.
And I did check. Acclimators are not a Star Destroyer.
Right. But
I
this
did
tells
have
me
a fucking,
also that the victory is coming.
I did have a freak out.
Right.
This does tell you that the victory is coming?
Because the modification, quote, Star Destroyer only, means that the Republic will have another Star Destroyer. Right? Because it doesn't say Venator 2 only. Or Venator only, right? They could have just said that.
That's true.
They could have just said Venator only. But they said
and
Star
it'll
Destroyer
make their victories pretty unique.
Right. Exactly.
I think this card is... It needs fuel, though. This is one of those, you have to fuel this card with
That's
Confire
so easy,
tokens.
though, because it's just munitions resupply. It's over.
Once, twice. I don't know. It'll suck up all those tokens, dude.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I have Peltas that I can take multiple on now. They're only 40 points.
You can invest as much as you want into ships, dude. I want you to run a heavy ship-based Republic list.
It'll be super fun.
Do it.
I will.
And then I'll kill all your ships because you have no fucking squadrons, because that's what Republic is all about.
Well, I think this is giving you an alternate idea. I mean, there's also the, you put this on one Venator 1 and you also have your Venator 2 hanging out, pushing a ton of squadrons, right? And it's wow, how do I deal with this?
I think one Venator with the SPA cannon is the best.
It'll probably end up being that way, but is there anything more cool than having 3 of them shooting? I don't know. Titles. Triumphant. This is an interesting one. While another friendly non-flotilla ship, which is interesting because there are no flotilla ships in the Republic, resolves a squadron command. Up to 3 squadrons without adept that it activates can be at close, even if the squadrons are beyond close medium range of that ship, except for the first round, which is weird. But
it's not weird. That is fair.
Okay, I don't understand why not the first round matters. I assume it's for things like fleet ambush or something, hyperspace assault, maybe.
No, it's for you open with that. Like you activate the triumphant and you move it in.
Oh, and then they
activate everything.
But if you're activating triumphant first and moving it at speed 3 in, there's no squadrons near it.
Unless you have hyperspace rings or fleet ambush or any of that other shenanigans that Republic has.
Yeah, okay, fine. Not activated in the first round, whatever.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
It is really cool.
Especially with the Pelta as it stands now, which I think is what squadron value 2 on both of them?
Yeah, I think it's 2 on both of them.
But
with Yularen or with anything,
Yularen, right?
You can get to 3. You can get to 3. It's not hard.
Well, Yularen token is 4. But yeah, 3 of them can be within range of this guy.
You know? Yeah, it's easy. Or you take like an acclimator, like a naked acclimator, and it's like you leave it in the back.
Yeah.
You know?
And like the Peltas don't need to take
this makes your flagship
boosted comms
more of a flagship.
Right. Yeah. It's close range, so it is a little restrictive, but I think it's really fun. It seems really cool.
I don't think close range is that restrictive. I think it's incredibly doable. I've used what is it that Centaur, the Architon's title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
And this kind of flows with Plo Koon, right? Like Plo Koon wants his squadrons to be close to a ship. Triumphant wants squadrons to be close to that ship. Squadrons attacking ships get accuracy die for free. Like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think we already talked about some of these, so we'll move on to the Resolute title.
Resolute. You must choose at least...
Yeah, 2 types of command tokens for this card out of the 3 options, which are Concentrate, Squadron, and Engineering. Does that
be... You get 4 of them.
Yeah, but you have to choose 2 different types, but you get 4 total. Yeah. After you resolve a command by spending a dial, you may discard 1 matching token from this card to gain that token for 6 points.
The big token bank.
Is this just a better version of the Separatist title that's like this?
Yes.
Like, you don't have to go to command 4. You just have 4 tokens on this card that you can give yourself one per turn.
But you get 1 per turn. The Nova Defiant gives you all 4 at once.
Right. And now
Resolute, you can have multiple tokens of the same type.
Resolute gives itself 3 tokens for the SPA. You can go 3 Concentrate and Engineering, right?
Yeah. You're getting a super expensive ship, but yeah.
That's not... Oh, please. It's like 105 points right now. Get out of here.
But you have to resolve a command by spending a dial, and then you have to spend the matching command token. So you have to be concentrating the whole time. Which
I'm probably doing on SPA ships.
Yeah, probably.
And then, the other alternative is like you go heavy engineering tokens with this for Yularen and repairing lots of squadrons, which is pretty cool.
It is super flexible, and you can just have it with just a shitload of squadron tokens.
Yep.
And then not have to worry about that, and then use your clone nav officers for something else. It's super flexible. I see this one, and I'm like, this is the best of the.
You think so?
Titles. Yeah, I think so.
All right,
it's the most flexible because you decide based on what you're going up against.
Right, you decide at the beginning of the game. It's
okay,
like
so if you don't think
Bail,
you need to
right?
yeah, it's like bail. You decide what you need.
Yep.
Like, do you think that you need to activate your SPA cannons like more than normal? Load it up with Confire tokens,
right.
And then adjust your dials.
Right. Yeah, it's so.
If you think you're going to lose the squadron game, or if the squadron field is free and you just want to bombard them with squadrons, just load it up with squadrons. Don't have to fucking worry about that shit. This is the best one. 6 points for this, really?
All right, let's look at the next one. Tranquility, 3 points. This one's also good. While defending, after the spend defense token step, if you spent fewer than 2, you may move up to 2 shields from one of your hull zones to the defending hull zone. If you do, the shields can't exceed 6. You can't recover while any... See, this is different. You can't recover shields while any zone is greater than its maximum. But this pairs really well with Luminara.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's really good with, like, basically all of the Wave 10 officers. The Jedi officers, like Adigalia and Barasofi.
Yeah, I don't know about Adigalia.
Right?
Because Adigalia wants you to spend multiple tokens, doesn't it?
No, while defending, when you suffer damage, you may suffer up to 1 of that damage on the shields of a hull zone adjacent to the defending hull zone for each event. Oh, well, I mean, I guess so.
But you could spend 1 and move 1, right? Like, that's fine.
But she's kind of like an emergency, like, hey, this time I need to spend this much, and she gives you extra advantage for that.
Right. And Barris is almost like negative synergy with Tranquility, so I'd probably want Barris on a different ship, because Barris is like, you spend the redirect first, and you can pick a different hull zone to take the damage. Whereas Tranquility moves shields only to the defending hull zone, not a different hull zone that's not the defending hull zone.
But that would then be the defending hull zone. So you have Barris, you have EW, you have early warning system.
What the defending hull zone is.
Yeah, so you have Barris, you have early warning system and Tranquility. So you move it to the front, you move more shields to the front, and then you have the early warning system there. They reduce their die, and there you go. Everything's plenty.
Ooh, I like the idea of Barris with early warning system. I never thought about that.
Yeah, she just is like, you're always attacking at a disadvantage now. You're always attacking at a disadvantage. And if they don't do enough damage and you don't need to use your brace,
I don't think that works like that, because Barris changes the hull zone during the resolved damage step, which is after they've already rolled the dice. Yeah. But, interesting idea.
That sucks.
Let's go on to the Pelta. Pelta, which has 2 titles?
Yeah, 2 titles.
Not 3. Not lucky. TB73 and FB88. TB is after you deploy...
Boring title names, huh? What the fuck?
And boring titles. They're not super elaborate, right? After you deploy, gain an additional evade defense token for 5 points. That is solid as fuck.
Yeah, that's solid as fuck. That's so good. It's like 5 points for another evade? Yes, every day. Every day I'll take
this. Is like... It's like so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Especially with the evade buffs, right? It's like, this is incredible.
This is incredible, yeah.
The other one is, before you reveal a command, you may discard your top command dial for 4 points. I think this is basically garbage.
Yeah, this one's not very good at all. Unless you have like an officer, and it's like, I don't know. It still seems bad. This is
because it's only a 2-command ship in the first place, right? So like, you only had to think about it like 1 turn ago. The only thing that this is good for is like, I'm defending against slicer tools, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some sort of like, I don't know.
But also, it's like skilled officer, but every turn.
This is basically saying that this is a 1-command ship.
Exactly.
If you want.
Yeah, it's a 1-command ship, and you just don't have to worry. We've got you, man.
Or it's almost like you could say, this ship sets down 2 separate dials, and you can just pick up whichever one you want.
Yeah, you get to that's what it is. You place 2 dials on this, and you choose which one you want to use.
Yep. Because you can do this every single turn.
Yeah. You just like delay what choice you want, and then right when you need it, it's like, oh, I want the engineering and Yularen buff some squadrons that took damage this round. Squadrons didn't take damage, all nap,
Yeah.
I think this one's really good.
Okay, so we've changed your mind on it. I still think it's kind of garbo.
I don't. I think it's amazing.
Okay.
Having 2 separate stacks of command
dials?
dials?
That's not literally what it says, but that's effectively what it does, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Is that all of our cards?
No, we've got to talk about Mercy Mission, man.
Mercy Mission. Before
The
deploying
game
fleets,
changer
this one is the most viable of.
of the fleet commands.
Yeah. Because it was this, Hot Landing, and Jedi Hostage, right?
Yeah. This is for sure the best one.
This was the best one by far.
This one changes the entire course of the game moving forward.
Before deploying fleets, unequip this card and choose one friendly small ship that is not your flagship, so a random Pelta. Equip this card to the chosen ship, even if it doesn't have fleet upgrade icon. Oh, so you can even just choose a CR90. At the end of the game, if this ship that has the card is in the enemy deployment zone, you get 40 points. You get 40 points. If you're destroyed, increase your fleet value by 20 points. So I could put a 40-point CR70, put this on it at the beginning of the game before I deploy fleets, and just run them around the board. And at the end of the game, I get a bonus 40 points if I end in the deployment zone of the enemy.
That's 2 turns of contested outpost for those who aren't good at math.
And it's really fucking good to do that.
0 points to have this in your list. It's free.
And I'm pretty sure you can just equip it to the ship it comes on.
Yeah.
Like if you only have one small ship, you unequip it and equip it back on the same ship. Like you can just
put it
go
back
on a
Just
fucking
put it on the
40
Pelta.
point, 45 point fucking Pelta, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude. It's amazing, and this is.
Wait.
What?
Okay, wait a minute. This whole time I've been thinking, Mercy Mission comes in the Pelta pack. The Pelta must have a fleet command upgrade. It doesn't. Neither of them do.
What?
Neither of the Peltas have a fleet command spot. Is that true?
The fuck? They don't.
So why does this card come in that pack and not the Venator pack?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Okay, anyway.
Anyway.
I guess you put this on a Venator. Well, it seems so worse.
It doesn't seem worse.
I mean, because you can still throw it onto the Pelta, right?
Yeah. Or another ship or something.
I guess I'm bringing a Venator.
Or you just put it on the fucking Venator 1, you know?
Yeah.
Or you just don't take the SPHA cannon and you put it on the Venator 2. You know?
Oh, and put it in the offensive retrofit slot with flag bridge?
Yeah, just do flag bridge, yeah.
No thanks, I'll kick the SPHA cannon.
Okay. Mercy Mission is great. I just love these kind of like mission cards. I thought that Jedi Hostage would be more like Mercy Mission, where it would work in a similar manner, but you would score points. You know, that would be like really cool. And like if Jedi Hostage entered the game and they still had the hostage, they would get points. But
yeah, that would be cool.
Apparently that's not how it worked. But moving forward, I think these mission cards are the future of the game. Additional kind of objective points that the fleet can bring, not including like the objectives. So
I'm a big fan of alternate ways to score points beyond what are printed on objective cards.
Exactly. Because I mean, it just makes certain objective cards better than others. And if I can come to a game and have like a way to mitigate that, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Because they're like any objective card that has numbers in the bottom right hand corner, those objective cards are better than the other ones.
Here is the biggest drawback on the printing of the Mercy Mission card, which is it happens before the fleets are deployed. So your opponent knows exactly where your ship is, like which ship has it. And then when you drop it, they're being like, okay, there it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big drawback. I mean, like how many squadrons does Republic's fleets have? You know,
a lot. Yeah, you could delay it. Yeah,
you delay it enough, and that's fine. It's like, and then you put on a CR70 with like Swift Return, Clone Captain Silver, or Engine Techs, and you get it there, and then there you go, 40 points, bingo.
Are those Peltas in the artwork of Mercy Mission?
No, those are the drop pods. So, like, they have the pods, and then they drop them, and they have all the medical supplies. I think they kind of look like weird Peltas.
They're too
I think they're at like a weird angle.
I don't think they're.
Maybe they are. You got to look at like the ass of a Pelta, but
Yeah,
I think they're at like coming down, but then also pulling up, so it makes them look like kind of chubby.
Yeah. And that's the last card then, huh?
Yeah. So
All right.
what out of all of these cards, what was your favorite?
SPA.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
It
not
took the
surprised by
vendor
that.
from boring and fine to super interesting, super dynamic, super threatening. Like, I'm all about it.
That's crazy. It's a crazy fucking upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be so fun because as a Rebel player and a Republic player, like I've never gotten a chance to play with Ignition. You know, and like I know the drawbacks of like your telegraphing and all of that shit, but it's gonna be really cool.
Ignition shit is really fucking fun. It's really cool.
There's nothing
It's
like firing a giant shoop-de-whoop cannon, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is way more flexible than the Onager, right?
It
Because
is. It's
can
way
go
more
on the
flexible 'cause it
side.
can go out the sides. Yeah, that's
Right.
one of the big drawbacks for running an Onager. Is like
It's
you're
like
really vulnerable.
They're
on
out of the side. They're in your side, and you're fucked if you're an Onager. But here, it's like actually, I don't really care if you're in my side.
Yeah, actually, I'll slap you if you're in my side.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm really excited for this wave. So yeah, for people listening, when we put this up on YouTube, put your bets in for whether or not you think we're gonna have another wave this year. I don't think we are, but DJ's betting his list that we will.
That's true. Writing my list.
Also, I think next episode we're gonna do like a fleet review because I've been seeing a lot of people posting fleets in like the Facebook group and
For Wave 10
and everywhere. Not just Wave 10, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Like send a link to your fleet and we'll review it in one of our segments. Think of ways that doesn't synergize properly, or other ways that we can improve it, or if it's just a fucking good list, and we'll talk about why it's good and what makes it incredible.
Cool.
And
All
I think
right.
next episode we're because we just talked about like our initial impressions for the cards. Next episode we're gonna go over the neutral cards and how they can affect the Civil War faction.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm down for that. And hopefully, they'll send some Wave 10 to America.
Don't hold your breath.